Many blessings to you. I hope that everybody is doing really wonderful today. It is Thursday. It is January 17th. I actually took a day off today from the busy uh, schedule at the office, and this is one of the ways in which I take the time to replenish and to restore myself, and it's something that I really advocate, especially if we're light workers, but it doesn't really matter if we work, if we're parenting, um, if we're caretakers. It's important to take the time to replenish, to restore yourself, and to include something that's going to be fulfilling for you. Last night I took a nice, beautiful, scented, aroma scented bubble bath, and I really enjoy that. It's really cleansing and purifying, and I don't know what I'm gonna do today after doing, the videos and the work that I have scheduled from home. But I'm definitely going to include something that's going to be fun for me, because again, we cannot give what we do not have. And when we take the time to replenish, um, then we have, fuel, energy to share and give to others. I was inspired to connect this morning with no very specific topic. I usually come, um, create a video, with something, some kind of inspiration in mind, but I have a couple of things swarming uh, in my consciousness that I kind of felt that I wanted to share. And one of them is fear, you know. Um, the things that we fear, how the mind, if we're not careful, spends a lot of time uh, feeding, speaking about feeding and fueling and, filling the container. Well, if we're not mindful, the fears that we all have can become bigger and bigger and eventually manifest if we keep feeding it. And the ironic part is that sometimes, we have this feeling that in order to be aware of something, we have to give it our attention. In other words, we're going to ward it off or keep it away if, we're aware of it. But the truth is that the universe has, I always say, doesn't have a dictionary. It's not up there interpreting, what we are thinking it's gonna do versus the energy that we're putting in, investing. And so it's just going to take, the frequency of what we are applying and put it in the container of manifestation, or of growth that will ultimately spill into a manifestation. And so spending too much time in a place of fear is definitely not something that we want to do, or it's definitely not a way to prevent uh, fearful things or manifestations from occurring. It's actually the opposite. I kind of wanted to bring that up, because just in general, it's a good thing to, keep in our consciousness. Two, because if we're mindful, then we don't want to feed what we don't want to experience. But also because I know that Loon actually had a video a couple of days ago. I'm not sure if it was here or on Instagram, talking about fear, or not so much fear perhaps, but like darkness, and how spirituality can have two sides. It was a comment that came through, I guess, someone's comment on a YouTube video. And ironically, I just got a message from someone who I don't know, who was recommended, and they were looking for me to have a session because they, quote, went to see a spiritualist and they didn't know what was done to them, and it was just a very fearful message of almost panic, that they were under some kind of spell, or I don't know. And so, what about that? And of course, I always remind all the viewers, this I share my observations bluntly, boldly, but of course, you take what resonates and you leave what doesn't. But I teach this a lot in the shamanic apprenticeships. There are many different realms, in the shamanic world. A lot of the shamans have to go into the underworld. What does that really mean? Well, there's other realms. And, in shamanic work, a lot of times when we're doing soul retrievals, we have to go enter into realms where there was trauma, where there was, fear and a lot of pain and wounds. And, we enter those realms in complete assurance, or we should, from knowing first the individual, spending time with them, creating a connection, and of course entering into those realms in with the highest intentions of healing, of delivering healing, and of course with our guides, knowing that we're going to be surrounded by luminous energy and protection. I always say to the apprentice students, if you're going to enter this in fear, then don't. Then this is not a place you want to go. And I also teach them that there's many doors, and the doors will only be open when we give them our attention, because again, there's many realms. And so if we look at that analogy from a perspective of energies, well, there's amazing people, there's people who are very illuminated, and there's people who are very loving and very free-spirited, and then there are people who are angry and fearful and bitter, and and they are tapping into different frequencies of vibration based on whatever it is, whatever emotions and feelings they're expressing. And so if we do not want to interact with those kind of energies, we don't engage. We don't give it our attention, right? And that doesn't mean that the individuals stop being who they want to be. It just simply means that we choose not to engage in it, so we don't open or create a cord. And the same thing applies for fearful things that are out there in other realms. If you don't want to experience it or be part of it, then don't open the door. The fact that it may exist is just an observation. And again, this is a very strong shamanic teaching. We become the observers, because from an observation standpoint, you're very empowered. You can observe many things, but you do not have to be part of it. But the moment you choose to engage, now you are given permission to connect and blend with whatever energies you give permission to. So if we're afraid of something and we're giving it a lot of attention, believe it or not, you are also giving it permission to be part of your reality. And so, it's very disempowering, especially if it's under the spiritual umbrella, because, there's many people who feel that people under the spiritual umbrella have powers. We all have divine power. We're all creators. And yes, when we are connected to the universal life force and to the angelic beings and our spiritual guides, we can co-create. And through someone's willingness, we can bring about healing. We can help them to co-create and manifest but I use the word willingness, you know, and that's always the greatest protocol, you know. Someone cannot hurt us unless we give them permission. And we give them permission when we give them our attention and when we open the door to giving them power. And we do that when we're afraid of them. Yes? And so, I don't know, you know, we're in such an important part of growth, of awakening, of evolution, of just really discovering our divine essence. And so I kind of felt that I wanted to share that because it's important. And for those who may have had a background, you know, a foundation where fear was instilled, well, that happens to a lot of us. I was born and raised in a Catholic environment where God was punishing and evil existed. And by the grace of my willingness to grow, I was able to overcome all of that. And so I'm just sharing that to say that we can overcome that. It doesn't have to be part of our foundation as we move forward in our spiritual journey. Yes? And so I was inspired, you know, that I have a favorite deck, which is the Psychic Tarot. But for whatever reason this morning, I was inspired to pull the Angels of Atlantis deck. It's a deck that I don't use very often. It's very fluid, very cosmic. But I was inspired to pull a couple of cards from this oracle deck. So we know how it works. We take a moment to take an inhale of prana, to exhale, to clear the space, to remove any debris, to be open, to let go of any obstacles, any distractions, and asking for the universal life force to direct us today in any way that it feels necessary for us. Yes, kind of feeling ready. And so the first card out is Divine Intelligence and the Metatron. Absolutely, discipline is what I feel here immediately. Be disciplined. You know, align yourself with what resonates. You know, just the conversation that I was sharing, and be disciplined. Be disciplined to stay within the scope of what, you know, nourishes you, teaches you, assists you, and stay focused on that. I do feel studies here, and so perhaps it's, you know, perhaps you're having a calling to take a course, start some kind of apprenticeship, start studying with a teacher, a guide, a mentor. By the way, the Metatron is, of course, a high-dimensional teacher that teaches us about sacred geometry, to name just one of the many aspects that he can teach us. Discipline, you know, and the calling to start a new study that will lead you to greater wisdom and insight. And to accompany that, we have the planetary cycles. I have a horrible time pronouncing, I'm going to say this, Sandalphus, I believe. Sandalphon. I'm sorry about that. It is one of the cosmic angels from the angelic realm. Planetary cycles, you know, wow, I feel alignment here again, you know, staying in your lane. Luna and I actually did a YouTube in Emerald Paradigm about staying in your lane, focus, navigation, staying very precise, not allowing things to distract you. Remember that we go through cycles, the ebb and flow of the universe. Don't get stuck. If something is not working out or playing out the way you thought it would, it's just a temporary blip. Stay focused, stay disciplined. Discipline seems to be the theme of the first two cards. Stay on track, and don't let anything or anyone distract you from your path or your direction. Yes? Ooh, kind of intense, right? We're going to pull one more. Wow, another Metatron card. And the card is Miracles. Absolutely, I kind of love this. I shared, I think 2 videos ago about the miraculous manifestation and story of my beautiful puppy puzzles, and how all the pieces of the unfolding of that were incredibly miraculous. Miracles are everyday happenings. The reason why we oh my God, it's a miracle, is because we're not open to seeing and to believing that the miraculous can happen at any moment, at any time, and we just have to really hold the field for that, to believe that it's possible. Something about to manifest, something about to really connect, an aha moment, a moment of clarity here. And I feel the Metatron energy here, almost like saying like, yes, you've asked for this, you've asked for guidance, you've asked for direction, and I'm delivering it through this channel. Something is going to have an aha moment for you. Something is going to come into fruition. Be open to that, yes? Ooh, that was intense. I forgot how intense these cards are. Divine Intelligence was our first card through the Metatron. Studying, aligning with a teacher, with a guru, starting a course, being disciplined, staying very focused. The second card was that angel that I can't pronounce. And focus again, staying on track, not letting any distractions, staying in your lane, making sure that there's no distractions here. Yeah. And the miracle card by the Metatron again, expect the unexpected and know that it can happen at any moment, and it does happen at every moment. Yes? Wow, I hope that you guys enjoyed that reading. I hope that you enjoyed the sharing on opening doors and not engaging in fear, and recognizing that you're a pure essence of love and of light. I want to take a moment to thank my Patreon supporters for your love, for your support, for answering the call. I just added a video this morning sharing a little bit about how to start a connection with other realms. And thank you so very much. And if you're interested in learning more about the mystery teachings and being a patron supporter, I will add that link at the description. And for those who are in the tri-state area, I just added an event yesterday. Among the many hats that I love to wear, that I'm graced to wear, I love to do medium work, and I was called to put an afterlife event together. It's scheduled for February 17th here in Staten Island, New York. I know that you guys are from all over the world, but I am offering that here in the tri-state area. If you're interested, you can visit the event page on my website. Of course, that will be included as well in the description. And Wow, we are so close. March is going to be a busy month for me, for us. Luna and I, of course, are headed out to Costa Rica on March 31st for an incredible emergence retreat. There is still some spots left there. You can visit the Emerald Paradigm on Facebook or one of our websites to get more information on that, or contact us if you have a calling to join us. And the Spring Expo is also scheduled for March 3rd, also here in Staten Island, but people come from all over. And so if you're interested in learning more about that, again, you can visit my website at the events page or Facebook. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I love to hear the comments. I love to hear suggestions on other topics, and I look forward to hearing from you. As always, I leave you with my love, with my light, and with my peace. I hope you have an amazing day, and I love you. Bye-bye.